Hello, this is Srinivas. We are going to discussing about Java virtual machine. So this video is we can easy to understand in Hibion Technology e-learning, and Hibion Technology is a software company. They are providing for training sessions for Java, .NET and databases concepts are SQL Server, DBMS, MySQL. If you want any kind of e-learning videos, you can directly log in into the Hibion Technologies, and you can easy to understand the Hibion Technologies e-learning videos. Okay, today we are going to discussing about what is the Java and what are the concept we are going to discuss. So in Java program we have different kind of variables and operators, some console statements and conditional statements, so some control loops. All the things we are going to discuss about in e-learning kind of things. And what are the features have Java, like methodology, object oriented programming concept, collections, multi-thread, generics, IO file handling. All the things have Hibion Technologies e-learning website. If you want to know any kind of video, you can easy to log into the Hibion Technologies and easy to view the Hibion Technology e-learning videos. Okay, when you are going to understanding about object oriented programming, first we have to understanding about what is the difference between object and variable. The thing is, in object, it is a object. Whenever you are seeing about object, it cannot be visible. Here in this slide we are seeing for different images. One image having the title of not a object, means in these two images whatever the content is there inside, we can easy to understand and we can easy to visible. So it shows in like not an object, it easy to show the what are the things is inside. If an object, it does not show the whatever the content is there inside the object. So by seeing these two images, we can easy to understand object is going to hide the information. It is a basic level securable. The thing is, it cannot be show the whatever the information it have inside. So object, it contains whatever the information, it hides the information. Okay, and we are seeing about Java is a language, how Java is platform independent. Today we are going to see about how the Java is platform independent. So the thing is, when you are using for Java language, first we have to develop the Java code. Basically the Java code is going to stored with the file name .java file. In the slide we are seeing here .java file. Just assume this .java file having the Java code. So when you are going to run the Java code, first instruction is we have to compile the code for the checking, for the verification, or for checking about any syntactical error or any like programming errors. So by compiling for .java file, we are using for JavaC compiler. We are using for which compiler? JavaC compiler. See which compiler we are using? JavaC compiler. The JavaC compiler is a compiler which is developed by C code. Generally JavaC is nothing but JavaC. Here C indicate Java compiler, as well as the compiler is developed by using the Java code. So using the Java compiler, if we want to compile the Java code, we are doing for JavaC space filename .java. So this is the procedure for doing for .java file, like compiling the Java file. So in this Java file, what is doing? first we are developing for .java file. When you are compiling the .java file by the help of Java compiler, the compiler will convert the .java file into the .class file. What .class file have? In this .class file, it have the bytecode. Which one it have? In .class file contains which code? Bytecode. So the bytecode which is more powerful than the general code, like the bytecode which is more powerful than the whatever the .java file have, instead of the .java file, .class file is more powerful. The thing is, in .class file it have the information about bytecode information, because bytecode information is easy to read by the different operating systems, and it is a unique for all the operating systems reading. The thing is, .class file have the bytecode, so that bytecode will be converting into the machine code. Who will be take care here? JVM. JVM is the Java virtual machine. In JVM, what we have, like in JVM, it will convert the .class file into the machine code. For example, I have different systems. Just imagine I have different operating system. In this one, like I have like my .class file, .java file I have. In this .java file, I am going to convert .class file. So this .class file will be taken by the JVM. Like JVM will provide machine code for Windows, different machine code for Windows, as well as if we are using for like any Linux operating system, then JVM will take the same .class file and converting into the Linux related machine code. At the same time, if you are using for like here, machine code is nothing but processor related. Like I am using here Pentium 4 processor, but I am using here like i3 processor. Here I am using for like Mac operating system and different Core 2 dual processor. The thing is, I am going to do for the what is doing here JVM, it takes the .class file and converting into the processor related machine code. So the main action for JVM is it takes the .class file. In .class file it have the bytecode, it will converting into the machine code. Who will convert here machine code? JVM will converting the bytecode to the machine code. Whatever the machine code we have, like whatever the processor we have, it will be converting into the related processor code. So the thing is, when you are releasing any software, we are not giving to the .java file, and we are not giving end user for .java file. We are giving for .class file. So using .class file, it is easy to convert. It is easy to execute the different platforms. So by seeing this one, Java is a platform independence. And one more thing is, we are going to understand by seeing this one, what is Java is a write once. Java is providing one code for write once and execute anywhere. Which facility is providing? Write once and run anywhere. So this facility is provided by the Java. So the Java is a object oriented programming language which is providing the write once, run anywhere feature. How this facility is provided? Because JVM. What is JVM? JVM is hardware or software? JVM is a software. It is not hardware. What is JVM? JVM is a software. It is a big program. What it is? It is a big program. like it is have the more than 200 lines of the code. If you want to see the JVM program, you can download from the website. If you want to go to the JVM software, you just Google it, you can download. Like JVM is a software which is developed by the Hotspot company. Who developed the JVM? JVM is developed by the Hotspot company. Now we are seeing about JVM architecture. So here I am mentioning for Hotspot JVM architecture. The importance for JVM, once again see, the thing is the .java file will be converting to .class file by the help of Java compiler. What is the role of Java compiler here? It will be converting into the .java file into the .class file. And what is the role of JVM here? It will be take the .class file information. What is information it have .class file? It have the bytecode information. JVM is taking the .class file and converting into the machine code, and it will give the output to the end user. So in JVM, what are the layers it have and what are the fields we have? We'll see here JVM architecture. In JVM architecture, we have different kind of in JVM architecture we have different kind of layers. So the .class file. So here it will take the .class file and it will sending to the class loader. What are the fields we have in JVM architecture? Class loader subsystem, method area, heap, Java thread, and program counter registers, native internal threads, execution engine, JIT compiler, garbage collector, native method interface, native method libraries. So what is importance of each and every field? Now we are going to discuss, and how this one is providing for platform independent, because Java is a platform independent. But what is JVM? JVM is a platform independent or platform dependent? JVM is a platform dependent because we have different JVM for Windows and different JVM for Linux and different JVM for different operating systems. So here you have to remember, Java is a platform independent, but JVM is a platform dependent because Java provide .class file, but if you are using for Windows have own JVM. So in this JVM it will take the .class file and give the Windows related machine code. If you are using Linux have Linux related JVM, and it takes the .class file, same .class file, and it give the Linux related machine code. The thing is, which one is unique here? .class file is a unique, but machine codes are different. So by this way, what you are understanding? JVM is a platform dependent but not platform independent. So in JVM, what's the class loader? So when you are coming to the class loader, we have different kind of class loaders. There are three types of class loaders. First one is the class. There are different kind of class loader. First one is the class loader and executable class loader. We have different kind of class loaders. Class loader have, like in class loaders we have three types of class loader, like executable class loader and external class loader and bootstrap class loader. The class loader is a subsystem of JVM that is used to load a class file. So the first step for in JVM is the class loader, which is take the .class file and load into the JVM architecture. And second one is the class method. By seeing here in JVM architecture, what do you have in method area? We'll see about method area. In method area we have different kind of things. So here, what is the method area? Like class method area. The class area stores per class. class structure such as the runtime constant pool. Find the method data, the code for methods. The general thing is every code, like every software, is a collection of classes. It is a different class coding. So every class required for some memory. So for especially for classes, for storing for classes in memory, the class method area is going to provide the memory for every class. And heap memory, it is the runtime data area in which data objects are allocated. And next one is the stack. In Java stack stores the, see here we are have different kind of object oriented program. See here we have different kind of like runtime data areas. The thing is in class loader subsystem, in class loader subsystem it loads the class files into the JVM. Here one more thing is in runtime data areas. Runtime data areas which allocates the memory for classes. Every class have different kind of class members. Like if some classes have methods and variables, all the things. For each and everything we required for some memory, some memory for executing for each and every class member. So what is the memory and which one is take care about class memory things. Here the class method area which is going to provide the memory for every class in a program. Next one is the heap memory. Heap memory is used to provide the heap memory is the runtime data area in which objects are allocated. So where the objects is going to stored means we have to say about in heap memory. Where the classes are going to store we have to say about in class memory method area. And next one is the stack. So Java stack stores the frames. It holds local variables and partial results and plays a part in method invocation and return. Each thread has a private JVM stack created at same time as a thread. A new frame is created each time a method is invoked. A frame is destroyed when it is method invocation is completed. When the frame is destroyed, when the method invocation is completed. The thing is stack stores the frames. So every frame have some like execution code. So when the frame is completed, then the stack will be going to get the free. So that is the who will call the stack. Stack will be called by the private JVM stack. So here you are understanding like program counter register, PC register. The PC register, it contains the addresses of Java virtual machine instruction currently being executed. The thing is we are going to execute the Java program. Every Java program have like classes and class have different kind of members. So each and every member is not executed in same memory locations. So which memory location is going to execute for which member, those things is maintained by the PC program counter. So those things is comes under PC programming things. And native method stacks, it contains the all native methods used in the application. What is doing? Native methods. The thing is it contains the native methods used in the application. And execution engine, it contains the virtual processor and interpreter. Interpreter is nothing but ready bytecode stream then execute the instruction, like it is interpreting from machine like bytecode to the machine code. And next one is the just in time JIT compiler. JIT compiler is nothing but just in time compiler. The thing is when the runtime Java virtual machine, it provides the execution, but sometimes every operating system is working under scheduler. Some scheduler, say if you are going to execute for multiple programs, JVM should provide for according to priorities, but some priorities have more time to complete the task. It will require for more time, but some priority which one have highest priorities, it have for less time for executing that time. So if the execution or if any task have less time for executing or for completing the task, those tasks is going to execute in the JIT compiler. Like JIT compiler, parts of the bytecode that have similar functionality at same time, and hence reduce the amount of time need for compilation. Here the term compiler refers to translator from the instruction set of Java virtual machine to the instruction set of a specific CPU. The thing is, who will convert the machine code to bytecode to machine code? Java virtual machine. But in virtual machine we have class loader field in and runtime field. In runtime we have method area, stack area, and PC register, heap area, and native method areas. And next one is the we have like execution engine. In execution engine it have interpreter and JIT compiler and garbage collector. The thing is, here if you have in your machine, you have like different kind of tasks. So each one everyone not have same priorities, and everyone not have same time for complete their task. So whoever have more time for execute their instruction, it will going to execute by the execute engine for interpreter. Whoever have the less time for executing their task, those task is going to execute in the JIT compiler. Once the task is completed, the garbage collector is going to reallocate or free the space for next instruction. Those things is comes under these actions is comes under in JVM architecture. So that's why Java is a platform independent. JVM is a platform dependent. So by seeing this one, how Java is become Java independent. Java is a programming language. The Java C compiler which converts the .java file into the .class file. So .class file have the bytecode. This bytecode is easy to understand the different operating system, like operating system JVMs. So by this one we can easy to understand Java is a platform independent and JVM is a platform dependent. But for other than object oriented program, like other than Java, some other object oriented programs, those programs are like they try to make the platform independent, but Java is a purely platform independent. If you want to know like remaining topics, catch me in later videos, and every videos is available in the Hebion Technologies.